Hello and welcome back to Bobby and Cece, featuring Kelly again, because this is part 2 of our Tabletop K-pop Mask with Me edition. So, we are going to take forever to talk about these. I'm already sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry, because it's good content.
Yeah, this is going to be hilarious and fun, and this is the best. This is the better part. So if you like the first one, this one's the better one.
She just keeps getting better over
right.
time.
This
Age is like fine wine.
This is like the cuter younger sister.
Yes.
Crackhead energy.
Oh, yes. This time, thank you for that, we're all using different masks because our faces, well, my face is fine, but everybody's faces are very dry from the last mask we just did. So we all have more hydrating masks this time that we can leave on for as long as we want and not die.
But we also don't recommend masking twice. We're just doing it for content. Sorry about it.
However, I will say, with these two, you could do this as a second mask. It's not going to harm you. These are all my masks, so I'm the only one who has used them. Besides this one, Bobby has this one too.
Yeah, I have that one.
But this one that I have, which is the Elemis Superfood Vital Veggie Mask, I would maybe not do a second mask with it because it is more of like a vitamin C, like brightening situation where sometimes that can be irritating if you layer it. Whereas Bobby and Kelly's masks are more for just hydration. So Bobby has the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask, which is actually really cool because it's just hydrating. You put on a thin layer, and then you can actually leave it on. You don't have to rinse it off.
And I need that right now.
And Kelly's mask is Peter Thomas Roth, which is one of my favorite masks. If you are a bride who's getting married, slap this shit on your face like for an hour and do it for the week before your wedding. Your skin will be beautiful, beautiful. It is the best bridal mask. But hers is a cucumber hydrating mask that has a little bit of a resurfacer, but it's not anything that's gonna hurt your face.
So, bridal tip, mask, Peter Thomas Roth, cucumber gel mask. It looks like this. Mm-hmm. You're a bride. You're about to be a bride. You know a bride. Let her know.
Beautiful.
All right. So,
cool.
Also, like and subscribe and
comment. All those good things.
All the things. Do all the things. And we're just gonna, get into it because we got a lot. Sorry, not really.
We're going to start putting on our masks, and the first thing we're going to talk about is what we have prefaced in a video before is the dry wipes.
The dry wipes. Oh, the dry wipes.
Kelly, would you like to start with this guy?
It always, every time we're like, Kelly, please start, it's because Kelly is the starter of the thing. Whatever it is that we did, Kelly is the starter of it.
Yes. We'll first start by holding up this.
Yes.
This dude is 2 years old now.
Oh, it's not, and it's dry.
And we still have it. It's from TGI Fridays. But Kelly can go in a little bit more about that while we apply.
So we were down in Minneapolis for the weekend-ish during a snowstorm. And we originally went down there because we were going to a little, memorial sort of thing for Junghyun
Of SHINee.
And that ended up not actually working because nobody actually went to it.
Yeah.
So instead we kind of just did it in our little circle.
Yeah, we did a girls' weekend thing.
Yeah.
But also, it was snowy, not good driving conditions, and Nikki drove up there in her little Prius, and I love you to death, okay? I love you with all of my heart, Nikki. You are a horrible driver, and in the snow, it is so much scarier.
Yeah.
It was so scary. And
there's been multiple occasions where
Nikki has scary driving.
And so there was one concert, I don't remember which one. We drove up in 2 separate cars, and it was me and Bobby, and then Kelly and Nikki. Mm-hmm. Almost rode us off the road because there was construction, so
it was a scary situation.
I was in the car with you guys, and then in the other car it was
Alex,
Nikki.
Yes,
there we go.
And Megan to our Pentagon concert. And let me tell you about how I was driving, and man, I was so salty for the rest of the drive. I was like, she tried to kill us.
Yep.
We'll get back to that.
But continuing. Dry wipes.
Yeah, so we decided, since our hotel was very close to the TGI Fridays, that was a couple of blocks down the street, that we would go there and eat because we were way too lazy to find somewhere that was close or do room service or whatever. So we all went over there, and there was this waiter that we had. And since we were with the other people that were in the group, Megan at the time thought that the server that we had was very attractive. So at TGI Fridays, you all get like these little like wet wipe packs. And so we threw them at her and we were like, you need a wet wipe, girl, like calm down. And so, well, now at this point they're dry, so dry wipes.
But even before then, we started calling them dry wipes because, so we have like girls' nights, obviously, as friends do, and like adult sleepovers, pretty much. And we would talk about how attractive these idols are, and it like just became a thing that instead of being like a wet wipe, because technically a wet wipe is not gonna fix that situation if you're picking up what I'm putting down. If not, it's fine too. A dry wipe would be better suited for that. So it just kind of went from there.
Yes, and there was a point in time where me and Bobby had discussed making everybody their own initialed dry wipes.
Oh girl, and we still should.
And I think we were thinking about putting like our ultimate bias's face on that.
Oh my gosh, that was just the best. It's just the best idea, isn't it? Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't you want to have a little towelette thing with your name on it and your bias's face? Like,
our first piece of merch needs to be dry wipes.
It does! Like dry wipes.
I can make the decals and things for them.
Like
dry wipes.
Dry wipes.
We need an embroiderer. I know people who sew. So hopefully we get that figured out.
Yeah, but
Dry wipes.
Like if you would like to see those.
Like if you need a dry wipe. Not right now. But like when you're watching your bias on the screen, you're like, damn, they look good. Give me a dry wipe.
Yes, and they can be the TableTop Kpop dry wipes.
Oh, yes. So much yes there. There's so much yes there. All right. So now that we know the story of the dry wipe,
the rest of the concerts will go. We reference them in every single concert.
We do every time we ever go anywhere, and I actually keep them in my purse, which is why it's there, because I have them. I saved all of them that we got, but I only have 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
Because we keep throwing them at
because
each other.
I throw them. I'll be like, throw it at Kelly, and then she'll keep it, and then I'll never see that one again. So I have 2 because I stopped throwing them at people because I need to have like a dry wipe in there just in case you never know what you're gonna do. I have to be able to throw it at people because we don't actually use them. No. We just throw this package at each other like
there's still a wipe in there. We just leave it.
We just leave it. Still in there. It is dry. There's no wet in here at all.
Okay, the next concert experience is more of like a personal to me concert experience.
Yeah.
And this one Kelly was not present for, so I won't linger on it too long. That way she's not just sitting here being like, you bitches left me alone.
I was in high school and I needed to go to school, so I stayed.
Yeah. But that was the Amber concert, which I was so excited about. Like, so excited where I dragged everybody with me because I'm like, you're coming, so I can go.
Yeah, you count that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you know you want it. Yeah, you know you want it. Yeah, you count that.
And we stayed in actually like the coolest fucking hotel. I don't remember what it was. The Freehand.
Yeah. Freehand Chicago. So it's not actually a hotel. It is a hostel.
Yes, and it was really cool.
So they have like some rooms are like hotel rooms. Like the one we stayed in had 4 bunk beds in it. Mm-hmm. So one for me, one for Cece, me, Cece, Nikki, and Megan. And it had like a shower and all that. But they have bigger rooms that accommodate not larger groups, but people who don't care about sharing their space. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty neat.
Yes, and don't hold me to this. There may be a picture, there may not be a picture. I think I have a picture of the inside of it.
Also, there isn't a 6, was it 6 or is it 8?
There was not a 13th floor.
I don't remember. There was not a floor. But it was in between us. I think it was, because we were on 9, weren't we? I think it was
the 13th.
I think it's 8 or 6. I'm going to find out.
Oh, no, it was 7. It was 7, because 7 is an unlucky number, I guess, in whatever... I don't know why, but...
Right, but there isn't a 7th floor. Like, yes. There is a 7th floor, because you know how to count, but, like, it goes from 6 to 8. And we were on floor 9, I think, and our view was pretty good.
Yeah. But it was really cute. There was, like, a bar and everything on the bottom floor, and then there was, like, a good, like, almost 30 stories to this building.
Yeah.
But it was so cute. It was, like, a little cubicle, and when you laid down, like, in your bed, if you were the bottom bunk, on the top of the bunk was a picture of the United States, like just a whole entire
on the mattress,
which is super cool. But probably the best hotel we stayed in.
Yeah, I really liked it also. But you have to pay for parking in Chicago.
That was
if you have never been to Chicago before and you are planning a trip, K-pop specific, not K-pop specific, you're going, just know if you're going to stay in the heart of Chicago, if you are going to stay in Chicago, and not a suburb, because we have been in, we've stayed in Schaumburg, we've stayed in Rosemont, we've stayed in, where's Allstate at? Is that one in Rosemont?
That one's still Rosemont.
Because we stayed in that one twice, but we've also stayed in the Freehand. And that one, you have to pay for parking. Mm-hmm. You have to pay for parking no matter what. So if you're going to stay, get a hotel in Chicago, buy where your concert is at. Like, if it's in Chicago, get the hotel in Chicago so you can park your car and walk.
Right.
Like, seriously, it's worth it.
The thing about being at the Freehand that was annoying was we were almost late to freaking everything because of trying to find parking in parking complexes. It was ridiculously dumb. So
parking is incredibly difficult to find, especially in like Chinatown, because not everybody's in Chinatown because they're K-pop fans and they want to go to the K-pop thing. Like, there are other people who go to Chinatown too, plus the inhabitants of Chinatown. So parking is like stupid.
Yes. So that was probably the most annoying thing, and I think that was the time where Nikki was someone was trying to park. I think this was this time, and I literally had to get out and run all the way down the fucking ramp to go be like, excuse me, we can't get in, our ticket thing isn't working.
It was me, and it ended up being, you just push the button.
And it gives you the ticket.
It was my fault. It 100% was my fault. I'm a moron, okay? Like,
so,
we were all in there. We all could have just, like, known to push the button, but we didn't know. But now we know. Just push the button.
The biggest, like, slap in the face was, it says press the button on it. And we didn't read it.
All of us were in there, though. All four of us.
I know. None of us read it, and it said to press the button.
And they ran, A.C.E and Megan ran all the way down the whole entire thing to go, like, ask somebody, and then they run back, and she's like, just push the button. And I was like, no, it's not that easy. I need to pay here. I need to pay money. I need to swipe with my card. Like, I need to add money to this. Like, what? Nope. She pushed the button. The little lever thing came up. We took the ticket, and then I drove through, and then when we left, Megan hit my car door on the thing and left a huge dent.
Yep.
So I was there for that one. That one.
Oh, so that must have been it. Okay, I'm like, there was a time where I ran up the thing.
That was that one. It was that one too, because I had to pull forward and then they had to walk around the barriers to get in the car, and she opened my car door. I was like, dang, into the wall.
Yeah.
The Pentagon one, she didn't get into like a pole. Oh. The cement pole.
Well, it's happened twice now.
It's happened every time. Megan has no respect for vehicles.
So after that fun bit, we went to the concert where we froze outside because it's fucking December, and it was awfully cold outside.
Nobody was dressed
appropriately at all. I had a windbreaker on.
But not even just us. Other people weren't dressed appropriately. There was a tiny little teenage girl who was in a short sleeve shirt and no coat in December.
Yeah.
In the Midwest.
So I had a VIP ticket because I'm meeting my wife. If you don't know, Amber is my wife. She doesn't know it, and I'm never going to tell her that because that's extremely rude of me, but in my mind, wife. And they stayed outside while I went in to go get this VIP thing, and the dude, which is her manager, maybe, took my phone and recorded me, which maybe we can put in. I have a video of me being nervous as hell. Him asking me, have I ever met Amber? Am I excited? Sort of thing. And I'm just like, yeah, excited.
You nervous?
Extremely.
Have you ever met her before?
No, I have not. This is my first time meeting anybody, actually.
Okay, here we go.
And she was like flamin' hot ginger, and this is important to the story. Flamin' hot ginger.
Yeah. So I go up there and like hug her, like, because you get to go like hug and talk, because Amber is from the United States. She's from California, so she speaks English, which is like the best thing ever because I can have a conversation. And I went up there and I hugged her, and the first thing I said to her was, hi, I'm sorry, I'm really awkward. Which in true CC fashion is how I start every conversation, is just prefacing with, just so you know, this is really uncomfortable for both of us. And I sat there and we were talking, and she's like, how long did you, like, where are you from, yada yada, and I told her that we had done, my friends drove me up here for 10 hours so I could come see you, and she's like, wow, thank you so much. And I'm like, yeah, I've been listening to your music for like 9 years, I really, like, appreciate you, you're a really cool person, like, thank you for making music. And after that, you got like a signed poster thingy, which I have, just not on me. I have the little well, bye, Monster.
We're dropping stuff.
Monster X just fell on the floor, it's fine. I got this little VIP tag thing. But she had these posters of this picture. You probably can't see it, but this picture. And on the front, she was signing in a silver Sharpie. Well, when I got up there, her silver Sharpie was like dead, like puts. She didn't exist anymore. So she went and asked her manager for a different Sharpie that was black, and I have the only picture that where it's written on the back out of that whole concert because she apologized profusely for not having a silver Sharpie.
Did they get a silver Sharpie for the people who were after you? Because I know you weren't left. Oh, look at her. That's like one of a kind original.
Yeah, so
authentic.
mine's signed on the back, and it has her signature and like a little Bible verse because she is Christian. And I don't know if she wrote the same Bible verse or if she wrote a Bible verse on everybody's. Mine has a Bible verse on it, which is really cool. So yeah, that was my experience meeting her. I was dying, and then I came back out to Bobby, and I'm like, I'm dead!
So we were in the, like, GA line, like, the general line, but after everybody got out, we ended up being, like, there was 4 girls in front of us, and, then there was us. So we were, like, 5 through 8. Me and Nikki and Megan were standing over there, and these like little girls, they played music and danced for everybody, and so it was really cool to like watch them dance, and they were really good, and they did all Blackpink songs, and they were super cute, and I don't remember any of their names or anything about any of them, but they were like high school, and they brought bags with sandwiches and stuff, like thermoses with soup and shit. Like, they were prepared. They were literally prepared to be there for their whole lives. And when we got in there, I had to check my bag because I had pepper spray on it, and you can't bring pepper spray into the venue, and I didn't know that, so I had to pay to check it. Which was great, because I didn't have to worry about my purse at all that whole entire time. Like, every concert should have checked baggage. Just gonna throw that out there. For people who make decisions, check baggage. Do it. But Cece got to go in well before we did, because she was in the middle of that line, not the end. So she got up there, and she was, like, touching the stage.
I was, like, leaning over the stage. I was on the stage, because this was standing room. Like,
yeah. So you, like, swoosh in there.
And my ass was, like, on that, like, white arm race.
And so we were them. We, like, walked up there, and then Cece is like, my people, and literally, like, parts the seas of all the people in between to bring us up there. Mm-hmm. So literally, it's like stage, Cece, and then like Bobby, Nikki, and Megan. And Cece had made like some friends, and so her friends were like up there in the front. We ended up being on the side of the stage that Amber and whatever the other guy's name is, they didn't like frequent that side as often. Everybody was on the other side, which happened to be the side that apparently is.
She had friends, I guess, in the.
Yeah, it's like Justin or some something. I can't remember what
Justin
his name
something. Is. He was her opener.
Yeah.
Who actually ran into Megan
when we were leaving.
Because I cried. Okay. Beautiful. Her song "Beautiful" is like my whole world. Like I died. She sang it.
It messes every emotionally turmoil person up. Just like
yes. So I started crying because, yeah, I have a tattoo of it spelt wrong on my arm. Don't come for me. It'll get fixed eventually. Spelt wrong. I tried my hardest though. So, once that song was over, her drummer looks over at me, sees that I was crying, and is like, Amber, you made her cry! And I'm like, don't point me out, don't point me out, don't point me out.
And she's got flaming red hair, so like, he's like, the red one!
Yeah, and throws a t-shirt to me.
So she can wipe her tears.
Across to the stage, so that I can wipe my face.
But the drummer asked at the end of it, asked Cece if she was okay and how she was doing. He was very concerned for her well-being.
And ran into Megan, and the opener dude, when I say she ran into Megan, and asked how I was, and asked if I was okay, and then talked to Megan.
And took a picture, so Megan has a picture with him. Mm-hmm. And it was just by happenstance, because Megan gets lost everywhere we go.
Yes.
I mean, you can give her specific ass directions, and she will still get confused.
Speaking of getting lost, she lost her wallet while we were there, too.
She loses her wallet everywhere. Mm-hmm. Seriously, everywhere. She loses everything, like mind included. Like, every time we go places, it's like, Barr. But somehow she still ends up getting friggin' autographs and pictures with people. We don't know.
Good segue to Pentagon. Because she also lost something there.
Yeah,
I was there for
her ID. She lost her ID.
She lost her hat.
And her hat and $50.
Into a hole where Pentagon was.
And then they threw it up to her.
Yeah.
They tried
to throw it up to her, but it was too far of like a reach for it to actually go up. So they had someone
Someone bring it
down
out.
there, one of like the staff members of the venue, bring it up there to her, and they were like, "Are you sure this one's yours?" And there was like a spark of a minute in there where everyone around us was like, "Bring back the bucket hat! Bring back the bucket hat!"
Yes, because she had lost her brand new Adidas bucket hat.
Literally just bought it the night
into
before.
a pit. And we were, so at this time, this is where Bobby got like her life sucked out of her body. Because we were going to see Pentagon, and her and Nikki had VIP to go do high touch.
And
so
what's her face?
and Alex.
Alex, yeah.
So
that's
they had extra stuff, so they were gone. So
yeah,
it was
we were in the front of the line and they were back further.
So it was just Mikael and Nikki and Megan, excuse me. And we dropped things, and they, while we were doing this, which you missed, not that it really matters that you missed it because you gotta touch them, but who was it who walked through twice? There were two different people who walked through, and we saw them like walking through getting ready, and they were like waving to us and saying hi. I forgot which members it was.
I can name them all if you need help.
The one who had red hair that time, I think. Yeah.
He
And
was
then
down there.
a black-haired
and
boy.
then-
And a black-haired boy. Is it Shinwan?
I
yes,
think so.
Yes, it was Shinwan.
I was gonna say, I feel like you guys had said that it was Shinwan when you guys
he
were
was the
talking
one
about
that kept walking by, like back and forth.
He's
We
like a
kept
fan
seeing
ho
him.
though. So
Yeah.
if
This
you know
was-
Pentagon,
okay.
you know Shinwan's a fan ho.
This was at the House of Blues in Chicago. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
This is where it was. And when you walk up to the front door, before there's like this giant railing and
Yeah,
like
there's
a
like
pit
a gap.
down there that goes to like this underground situation that's down there. Don't ask questions. I don't know what it is. There was like a car down
Underground.
there. There
It's
was
Fight-
some funky things happening.
It's Fight Club.
but-
We don't talk about Fight
Yeah.
Club.
That's right. It was it says North Dearborn is what the ticket says. I still have the ticket stub because, like she said, my life changed.
But that was probably the most action that we got at that concert. But that concert was super cute. Super cute. They had like this moment in it where they were like made a video game sequence, and you yelled jump every time to get the members over their stuff.
It was
so
so
cute.
cute. I mean, it was really well thought out. But Live Nation, who put it on, did not think it out because they oversold so hard.
Yeah.
I was VIP, and I stood with these guys because that's where I ended up. Like, I ended up so far in the back, even though I was VIP, because they had VVIP, so people who would get to have a picture and high touch, and then there was VIP, people who only get to do the high touch, and then there was general admission. Now, they're general admission, and I'm VIP, but there were so many VVIP and other VIP people who were ahead of me that literally I was, like, standing with all of the other people who just were there, like all the GA people, because they oversold so bad. It was so crowded. There was no way. If there was a fire in there, we would have died.
100%.
For sure. We were so crammed in there. It was ridiculous. And it's kind of like a bar on one side, and that's the side that we stood by was like the bar side. And there was a chair that Kelly and Nikki ended up sitting on during the concert that was right there. But they were, if you were in the chair, they were smushed up against that railing.
Yep.
And we were standing in front of the stairs. People were standing everywhere because there was just nowhere else to stand.
Right. And there was like this hallway too, like right in front of us. So the whole concert, people were just walking in and out this hallway, and I'm like, bitch, move. I'm trying to watch, because they were bringing like beer and stuff to people because you could drink at this venue. And I was like, go away.
Yeah, it was hella frustrating.
It was like a ramp that would just go down to where like the pit was, and there was like a railing on both sides, and there were like a couple girls in front of the railing on the other side of the ramp that kept sitting on the railing
Which
and
they
getting
weren't
in
supposed
front
to.
of the way that where we could see.
Right.
It was very annoying.
But there was the security guy who ended up going down there to swat all the girls off of them and to make sure that that was clear. But to be fair, it wouldn't have mattered if it was clear or not, because that was the only clear spot was the ramp. Like, there was people wall to wall.
It was a good concert. I just it was kind of tarnished just because of how poorly
It was so organized so poorly.
it was organized. Because the actual concert itself was so fun.
They
like,
needed
so
they
fun.
should have
good.
had better planning. They should have picked a bigger venue.
They should have done the
Yes.
Rosemont Theater.
They really should have done the Rosemont Theater. Seated concerts, in my opinion, are not as good. I think the ones where you stand are better, but
They needed the seats.
they needed the seats to control the people because the people were crazy.
Yeah.
And then so when we had to separate all the people who didn't have, like after the whole concert was over, and oh my gosh, they did, what is it, Havana
Yeah. Fire.
Woo!
that.
Okay, Kelly was literally Kelly's the one who needs this.
Yes.
They were doing Havana, and Kino is up there being himself, and Kelly was literally like, "This is like an ultimate bias record." Like watching him roll his body, like holy Jesus! And if you know, and now you know, Kelly and V, forever. Yes. Forever and ever, amen. There is nothing that can break them apart. He is literally Kelly's ride or die, forever and ever, amen. And for Kino's body rolls to be that sexy, I'm just saying.
We also didn't talk any biases in any of these groups.
No, we didn't. I'm struggling still.
So bias?
For Pentagon?
Yeah, we haven't talked biases.
Okay, so my bias is actually going to be important for later in the story, so I will share that when that part comes. But for BTS, my bias was Jin, but after the concert, it was Suga. Because he did so good. Mm-hmm. So good. And obviously, we know who Kelly's is. Yeah. And Cece said that hers was Jimin at the time. What was the next one? Monsta X. Wonho. I feel like I said that too.
Kihyun.
But hers was Minhyuk until she saw Kihyun.
Yes.
So that's important. When you see them in person, like,
it changes.
Oh, it changes
your mind.
My bias originally, before, I was on the verge of deciding whether I wanted to be like a Wonho bias or an IM bias, and I was like kind of on the verge. And then I met him, kind of, sort of, not really met, but touched, and I was like, okay,
the sex appeal
decision has been made. No other options.
And then so, obviously for Amber's everybody's bias because she's her own group. However, in FX,
which no longer
exists, my bias from FX was actually Sully.
I
and
love Sully.
Then Luna. But it was Sully. She was my favorite. She was so freaking cute.
She is.
She's like a little ray of sunshine.
She was my second favorite. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
So. And then, did you say your bias for Pentagon?
Kino.
Okay, and then
Yuto over there. So they actually handed out like these like there's people giving all kinds of merch and stuff. Like they were like giving us stuff. We got these little bracelets that had our biases names on them.
So cute. This girl and her mom made them for everybody, and it was just like passing them out.
Right, they were just passing them out, and then like there was other stuff, pictures, like postcardy looking pictures. Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of them. My hubby still thinks it's weird that I have them.
There was someone who did like, if you followed her Twitter page, that she would give you this little like clear fan of Wooseok. I don't know.
Yeah, it was something like this.
Kind of, but it was like flimsy and like a fan, like floppy kind of. I have it somewhere. It might be in the trunk of my car.
Obviously,
that's probably where it's at.
There wasn't as much merch up in my side as there were in the GAs, probably because the GAs didn't get to meet the guys, so they were all like, it's fine.
Right.
But, so at the concert, like after, besides like the giant cluster of people constantly touching each other the whole entire time, they had separated for the GAs to leave, and then we would get to do our high touch. So they left and with Megan, and they went back to the car, which was a jaunt to go back. But and then me and Alex and Nikki, we ended up getting to go up there during the high touch. So you went up these stairs, you did the high touch, you came down the stairs, and then you would leave. We were in the beginning half of the high touch. I would say we were somewhere towards the front. There were 500 people who got to do high touch, and we were somewhere in the beginning, so we had to be in like the first 100 or so. And we went up there to do our high touch, and if you've never done a high touch, just so you know, you don't remember anybody but your bias. Like, you remember little tiny bits of everybody. Like, you remember, like, certain things they did. Like, for instance, I remember none of them smiled. Not a fucking one of them. That's not true. But Kino smiled a little bit, and Yowan smiled a little bit, but that's in his character. He was probably smiling the whole time, and I just, like, glimpsed him barely. And Shinwan smiled a little bit. Literally, Hosuk, who is my bias, was, like, fucking resting bitch face the whole time.
They also did just get done dancing and dying on a stage, and now have to sit here through 500 people. So I can imagine that you ain't too stoked to be sweaty as crap and, like, high-fiving people.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's right. And especially because the venue was overbooked, and it was hot. It was so hot in there. It was, like, ungodly hot. The ventilation was not proper for the amount of people that were in there, and I think that also probably fatigued them more.
Right.
But they were not as excited or happy. Like, I don't remember them being... I have a theory that they can tell who who biases them. Like, I'm sure by the way you look at them, you're probably like, but I think that they can tell. And so, like, Nikki will say that Jinho smiled at her, but I'm pretty sure he didn't smile at me.
Right.
Like, I don't recall him smiling. So I went through, and you touch all their hands, and it's like a quick, like,
Right. She was in and out.
They
like 2
they
minutes.
expect you to just like run, like
Pretty much.
sprint your way through there to get as many people through as possible.
Which will come into play later when we talk about Ace, because Ace is our next situation, and we all touched, and the experience was a lot different.
So it was very quick. And so all the people in front of us, all the people behind us. So I was hitting all their hands, and praise Jesus, the Hansak was on the end, because I don't know that I would have remembered anything. Apparently, like for Alex, she touched Yuto and was like, oh my god, I love you, and blacked out for the rest of the people. Like, she don't remember nothing after that. And Nikki might have felt the same way. I can't recall how she was feeling, but my bias was at the end. So, like, I was like, I don't care about you so much. Like, I love you and I appreciate you when you make good music, but, like, you're not my man. You're not my man. You're not my man. You are kind of my man because you're sexy AF. You are kind of my man. You're kind of my man, but this is my man. Like, this is my bias. Like, and so I, like, touched all of their hands, and when I got up to Hansak, he was last, and I grabbed his hand, okay? A bitch isn't playing around. He literally wasn't even looking at me when I high touched him. Like, I had to, like, make an impact. He wasn't looking at me. So I grabbed his hand. And I grabbed his hand and he looked at me. So just, if you're wondering, like, it's going by super fast, you're like, boom, 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 and your bias isn't looking at you, you just
I did the same, I think, I did the same thing at Ace. I grabbed on his hand and, like, was like, meh, and he smiled at me, and I was like,
see, so that's, but here's the deal. You only get a couple seconds with them, where Ace was a little different, we'll talk about that later, but you only got a couple seconds with them, so I grabbed his hand, like, he left his hand, was like fucking a board. It was a board. He didn't care about nobody's nothing, okay? He wasn't doing nothing for nobody. He was tired. He was mad. And all these girls are, like, staring at him like, you're a god.
You're gonna have a hard time finding your cutoffs, lady.
It's fine. Because it'll hit the first one. That's how it does that. But it just, like, everybody was touching their hands. And so when I went up and I grabbed his hand, well, then we ended up going a little bit forward, and our line stopped. Because there was a handicapped person who had to come through and do the high touch. And so everybody had to step back on the railing, and she went through and she got to high touch all of them and tell them how much she loved them. She got to have a couple seconds that, like, other people didn't get to have because she had to go through slowly. She was on a wheelchair, so it was not as quickly for her as it was for everybody else. Well, we were all standing back. So they all did their high touch, and we had to wait for her to get down the stairs because she had like a walker thing. Not a wheelchair, like a walker thing. And so they had to wait for her to get down the stairs safely before the line could continue to go. And so me and Nikki are standing. It's like me and Nikki and Alex, or me, Alex, and Nikki. Now Alex is in between us because she was young and we need to protect her. Not really, but that's what it was. And so I was standing there and I kept looking back because I want to stare at these guys as long as I possibly can. And I look back and then I look forward and I look back and then Nikki's like, Bobby. And I'm like, okay, lit. So I turn. And literally, Hansak is staring at me. Not even just like, hey, girl. He was like full-blown staring. We made full-blown eye contact for a long-ass time. Like, it was probably like 10 seconds, but it felt like eternity. And I was staring at his beautiful face, and he was like leaning, he was over the edge of the table, and they're all standing in front of the table, and he was like on the side. And so he like leaned forward over the table and like was like trying to make himself look hot. You know how like guys like look at me, I'm cute, and he leans down and he smiles and he like dips his head and looks up at me and he winked, and I was like, Alex is like, we gotta go, and I'm like, literally I died. Like, I was winked at by somebody who is literally like the sexiest man in Asia, like dead. And so we were walking down the stairs and Nikki was like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened to you. And I like, and because Nikki was like, I saw it. I witnessed it. It really happened.
It's falling out.
It's fine. Because somebody else witnessed it, it felt more real, you know? Like, it doesn't feel real until somebody like acknowledges it. And so we're walking outside, and I was like, I wonder if it's because, like, I looked really cute. I looked like a Barbie. And I was wondering if maybe that had something to do with it when we were walking out. Like, maybe I did my makeup really good, even though I was sweaty and nasty because it was hot in there, and it's been, like, hours since I'd done my makeup. And, so we were walking out, and there are these two dudes, and they're walking behind, and they're, like, talking how cute I am to Nikki. And Nikki's like, isn't she? I'm like, Nikki, I don't have time for these guys. My husband in there just recognized me. My husband's in there. And then we walked back, and then we talked about everything, how everything happened, and then we went and found food after that. But, like, I'm still shook about it to this day. And we got these cute things, like we got these passport things to be VIP for this. And I'm really happy that we got something like this because the Ace concert, we did not. We got pictures.
Yeah.
Which are still good. Don't get me
A
wrong.
little pack of photo cards.
No, what makes
this
these
is cool.
What makes these photo cards good is Wow was handing them to you while
Yes.
his legs were beautifully on this table.
Yes.
His thick ass thighs, like
Yes.
I promise you, they're bigger than you think.
Yes.
Like he's a little chunky, but like fit,
Yeah.
like muscular.
The rest of the group is like so thin that it makes
Tiny.
him look like dump truck thick. And you're like, yes.
That was such a good concert though because they did like random weird extra songs that like Old Town Road was beautifully
It
off.
was so awkward. It was
and they
hilarious.
were wearing like
Wonderful.
cowboy hats, like I'm gonna take my, and it was just beautiful.
It was so funny.
horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna
Ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back. Everybody black, got the boots that like to smash. Ride on the horse, you can make your horse. I've been in the valley, you've been above the horse now. Can't
nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Ain't nobody tell me
nothing. Rocking on the track, City on my baby, you can call me after. Go out in the movie, go out in the movie. Cowboy from Gucci, with your my booty.
So all of our previous engagements for concerts, as far as that's concerned, are in Chicago. But wait, Ace was in Minneapolis.
They came closer.
And so Minneapolis from Sioux Falls is not a far jaunt.
No.
And so, I mean, it is what it is. And it's like 4 hours or so to drive over there, which is hella less than 10. So we drove up there to go to this Ace concert, and it was Kelly and Alex and I and Cece and Nikki. And Nikki drove. We all went up there. When we got up there, we went right to the venue so that we could go pick out our merch, and because we were like VIP. And so we went up there to pick out our merch stuff that we were going to get and to get our tickets and just to make sure that there wasn't going to be any hitches when we were getting there. Like,
We looked really cute. We all picked out undercover shirts. We have them. I have a picture of us in them. I'll insert that too.
yep, yeah.
I wore a shirt that looked like a disco ball. I was very
Yeah,
happy.
Kelly
Yeah, to
wore
the
a
concert.
rubber that like glowed for the gods, like you was trying to light
And-
there.
and the
covered
li-
in sequins, and every time one of like the lights would shine on me, you would see it on all the walls. And,
And they for sure could see Kelly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's no way that they could
100%
not see her.
they saw us.
But so then we went back to our hotel and we got all cute together, and then we came back, and then we were sitting down in our spots, and we took a whole bunch of selfies. I have a whole bunch, and I'll insert
we
some.
might insert like a couple little ones like somewhere.
So tons of selfies, like lots and lots of them. And when the concert started, one of their lights, like they had like 5 light bar things, and one of them, the second one in on this side, was like too bright.
Def.
It was like literally like,
It wasn't so bad for all the songs, and then Cactus came, and that was the
Right.
song that was like the worst
They
one
did.
for the light.
So Cactus was the last song, I think, because they did this really long thing where they were all talking about a flower blooming cactus situation to introduce Cactus. They were talking about like thank you choices for yada yada, and these lights were just phasing like in and out and in and out, and I'm like, this is giving me a headache. It's awful. And then Cactus played, and it was like seizure warning. Like you needed
yeah,
a seizure
seriously,
warning.
that for sure. Like they obviously like know, because I'm not light sensitive by any means, but like the one that was going haywire was like right where I was at, and man, the whole time I'm like this on Kelly, and she's like, there's a spot over there. I'm like, no bitch, there's not. There's a light over there, and I'm not dying.
Right.
And
Because
it
it
was
was-
even bad where I was at, and so when she moved over, it probably wasn't any better at all.
Yeah, no, it was, because it was awful. I mean, it was like literally in my eye the whole time. I'm like, is that a member? I can't see nothing because I'm blind. Because it was like in my eye, and like they would rotate, like the little boards would rotate. So some of the songs they were rotated to the side, and they weren't so bad. But like,
Yeah.
during the crazy dance parts, they were like, it was like a freaking rave in there.
Yeah, but it was really good. They did a whole bunch of different songs that weren't even just their songs. They did a couple, like 3, just to accommodate different members. So they did like a rap one for the more rappy people and a singing one for the more singing people, and an Old Town Road just to be a meme.
And they did Easier by 5 seconds to something. 5
2 seconds of summer, yeah.
whatever that is. They did that, and then they also did another one.
Yeah, I don't remember what the last
I
one
can't remember
was.
what it is, but man, their rendition is just Chen's voice.
Yeah. Oh,
Chen's
biases.
voice.
Biases, before we forget.
Okay, my bias is I don't have a bias, but
She had one going in.
I did not have one going in. I didn't have a bias, but I had one coming out, and it was Chen.
Mine's well.
Yeah. And Duncan. Beautiful. Beautiful boy. Beautiful boy. I love him.
He's a beautiful boy. He is gorgeous. So, after the light seizures, the whole entire concert, it was still really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I wish for them, because the concert was not very packed. I mean,
I wish they would have moved us forward.
I wish that it would have been a standing concert, because we would have all been so close that it would have just been so much better. But it was not. It was a seated concert, and
Right.
it was still good from where we were sitting, but I think they would have felt the love a lot more if we were all super close, because when you're in seats, you know, it's just they're not as close.
I will say that was the most, like, home-y concert that we went to that I feel personally. Like, it was very much, like, you could feel that they felt loved. Yeah. Because they are not a super well-known group. Like, they're known, but obviously, like, they were in a very small venue, and the small venue wasn't even filled up all the way. And you could just tell, because we were chanting, like, loud. Like, for the little amount of people in there, that was some loud-ass chanting.
It really was. We were loud for, and so where was it even at? Like, what was the theater?
I don't remember.
Oh, didn't it?
I forgot.
Oh,
what
yeah,
it was.
did. It was weird to pronounce.
Yeah.
It's a funky name.
I'll, like, stick it in here, like, whatever the name of the theater is, but when you walk into the theater, it, like, kind of goes down as theaters usually do, and so there was, like, a first section, and then an aisle, and then the back section, and then the back section went all the way to the wall, and there's, like, a little sound booth cut out in the back. Most small theaters are made that way. Most, like, if you've ever been to, like, a theater situation that is at a school, a college school, it's about that size, and, so we were in, like, the front portion of the back section, if that makes sense. So the front section, the back section, and we were, like, I don't know, 3 in. We were in, like, J and K or whatever. But there were letters all the way in the back, and they were, like, maybe 5 people, like, 5 worth of rows behind us of scattered people, and then empty behind us.
Mm-hmm. But you could just tell they felt, like, so loved. And even before the concert started, like, everybody was singing the songs because they were having technical difficulties at the beginning of the concert, and they, like, apologized profusely when they came out on stage. Like, it was really awesome. They could talk to us. Like, some of them could actually talk to us and ask, like, questions to the audience. Like, you could just tell they were enjoying their time.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that about all the K-pop concerts that we've been to. If they don't all know English, they still tried. Yeah. Like,
their
in every
members
single
will
one.
Talk for them if they'll have, like, translate for them.
Right.
Which is sweet.
Well, like, Monsta X has, like, knows English pretty well, but not everything. He still needs a little help. And then RM Ratman, I don't know what they call him these days. Namjoon, like, whatever they call him right now, he knows English, and his English is fluent. Like, he's fluent. He knows what he's doing. But they all were still, like, saying little stuff. Like, they were all trying to speak in English, and it wasn't, like, a complete where they all talk in Korean, and they're like, I don't care about you speaking English. I'm going to speak in Korean and have somebody say stuff. Like, every single concert, they tried to incorporate English speaking into it, and I appreciate that immensely as an English speaker, because then it's like hearing them actually talk to me versus, like, listening to a CD where you can hear them in Korean, but somebody else is saying what they're saying.
Right.
So.
But yeah, it was probably one of my favorite concerts that we went to because it felt just like they cared. Because sometimes, like, the BTS concert didn't seem like they cared. Like, it's a large venue, they're a large group now. Like, the feeling of, like, inclusiveness, like, you feel included into their lives is way less when they're a larger group. Same with, like, Monsta X. Like, the only reason why I felt, like, connected to Monsta X is because we ran into them. But even some of their stuff they did, like, handing out the candy, doing stuff like that, like, was really sweet. Like, I appreciate that because it's making an effort.
Right. Or, like learning English songs and singing English songs or putting an effort. Like, Pentagon did do that. And I know they were tired and it was hot, but, like, their high touch was not as exciting as A.C.E.'s high touch. So when we went down to do A.C.E.'s high touch, I was not first.
I was first.
And then, I don't know the order, but
I think it was Nikki, and then I think it was
Kelly?
It might have been Alex.
I was
don't know.
last. I
I
think.
don't remember anything at all. All I remember is seeing WoW and being like, nothing else
But
is
no
here.
one else wanted to go first, so I'm like, here we go, bitch.
Well, so they are all going, and since I was back a little further, like I watched, I think probably Cece like touched the June's hand because he was last. So in order, it was Wow, Chan, Byung-Kwan, Donghoon, and June in order. So Wow was the one who hands you the photo cards that you get, the signed photo cards, and everybody. This was special about this concert. Everybody got high touch.
Yeah.
Not just a VIP, but as a VIP person, you get like this little pack of cards.
Yep. And then you got to pick out free merch.
Yeah, and then you got like $10 off or something of merch.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it was, but so when we're going down there and we're like going to hit their hands, and I can remember seeing Cece go after she hit June's hand, like I was that far behind because Wow ran out of cards, so they had to go get a new box, and I'm standing there like, oh my god, I literally was staring at him like he was like a golden child. I'm like, and he was so sweet.
They were all really
He
nice.
was so sweet, and he's smiling and like saying Englishy things to you, and like hands you your card, and they all grabbed your hands.
Yeah.
They were all like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you for coming. All of them were.
Yeah.
Well, June didn't for me, but everybody else did. No, and Byung-Kwan didn't either. But they did it to everybody.
Yep.
Like I said, remember I said that I think they know who their bias is because June, Nikki biases June, and he grabbed her hand, but he didn't grab my hand. And I am like in struggles with biases for Chan and Donghoon, and so those two grabbed my hand, and Wow. I think Wow grabbed everybody's hand.
Wow, did he?
Wow was like extra passionate.
Yes,
He
it
was
was
like
so cute.
squeeze and shake. Okay, squeeze and shake every single
Yeah.
person, and he was like so nice and sweet about like.
And instead of just like looking at everyone else walking through the line, he would like make
Look at
direct
Right, he's
eye
like
contact.
focused on you, and they all focused on you
Yeah.
instead of looking ahead. Where in Pentagon they did not do that. I mean,
And I know Wow, at least for me, he's like, thank you for coming. Like, he
yeah,
talked
every
to
single
me.
time like they were like, thank you.
Yeah. And I said thank you back. I actually mustered words. I was like, thank you so much, like to every single one
yeah,
of them.
I did, and I was like, oh,
I
I said I
probably
love
like
you.
tried to say it, but it came out like.
I will say though, we definitely were like the extra bitches looking. Like
Yeah.
you knew,
Yeah.
because
You knew.
I had this shirt on with like a skort. Yeah, skorts, they're a thing still. Don't at me. And then I had a lime green leather jacket on, and Kelly was a disco ball, and I forgot what you wore. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I think you had like a green
I had
jacket
a-
on.
I did have a green army jacket on, but I was wearing a black crop top, so my stomach was showing.
Right, like we looked like done up,
And
where everybody else
makeup.
looked.
We were all in makeup and lashes and liner and lips. Like, you know us, obviously. We're wearing the makeups.
Right.
But we were all so heavily makeuped. Nobody else was. I mean,
Yeah.
these were all like, there was like 65% Asian people and then regular white girls. Like,
Yeah.
there weren't very many dudes.
We were diamond in the rough for sure.
We definitely looked different. So when they saw us coming down the stairs, they were like excited.
Yeah,
I think
they were
it's
looking
because
at us.
because we loved them so much that we had to get ready. Like, we wanted to get ready for them, and they could see that we loved them that much that we wanted to get like cute. And you could definitely see in their faces they were excited that we did that extra thing for them. And especially because we were like all smiling and like dying on the inside. So like when I grabbed Chan's hand, he grabbed it and squeezed it and shook it and leaned in, and his face was like so close to my hand, and my hand was like, we were like, because he leaned in and shook and grabbed, like, to like remind you, like, you are important. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming. And then it was like every single one of them, they just wanted to remind you how much they cared about you, and loved that. And then we all walked home and died.
Yes.
It was
Oh,
great.
It was great. And then on the ride home, we were playing a game, and we talked about your husband or wife is the last person who you held their hand.
And I'm like, thank God. And guess who was the only one who didn't have that? Kelly.
Kelly.
Because she held
And
Nikki's
Nikki.
hand.
Kelly and Nikki held hands, so they didn't get to have that. But me and Cece both got to be married to Donghoon, because technically it was the last person's hand you touched, which the last person's hand who grabbed mine was his, but the last full-on, like, hand hold was Chan. And I was like,
Yeah.
my husband. Because K-pop girls are, like, stupid about biases. Like, we're just dumb about it.
And then the day after the concert, we went to the Mall of America in our matching shirts, and I'm pretty sure everybody was just like, what cult are you from?
Probably.
But we looked cute.
We did. We
We
looked
did
like a
look
cute
cute.
squad.
Yes.
It
And
was
then
like no makeup cute.
Nikki spent 3 years deciding
I
if
wore
she wanted
makeup.
a sweater and some shoes.
Well, me and Cece didn't wear makeup. I mean, it was like light makeup.
I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was such a good time, and we bonded. Like, Alex left, that she didn't stay in the hotel with us, and so it was the 4 of us, and we went to the mall, and we really bonded. Like, as a friends, like, going, it was a really good time. K-pop brings friends together.
It does.
So.
I feel like every single trip that we've been on has been...
Driving home after Pentagon. Because Chicago, remember, a trek.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Time.
It's like across the country.
Oh,
It really isn't. But Cece...
I love this.
Cece and I were singing in the car because what else do you do for
Yeah.
a 12 million hour drive? And we're singing in the car and we are getting it. Like, we are, like, literally, like...
I had bottles.
Singing into body armor bottles as our microphones. So one day, I'm sure you'll get to see us singing into body armor bottles for something. Probably
Kelly,
a vlog, going to a concert.
Kelly, because of this situation for Christmas, got us just bottles of body armor.
Yes, I did.
But also, this is part even better than that, okay? Even better. Even better.
Kelly's like, no.
She is so scared. Because everything, like, we were in the car, and so for the whole entire trip, Kelly and Nikki argued. I think the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the whole time. It was miserable for the rest of us. And so we were telling Kelly how miserable we were. They were arguing, and Kelly is already a quiet girl. When she doesn't, like, when she, like, gets some confrontation, she's like, I'm gonna be back here by myself, okay? So she's not really participating in the sing-along that me and Cece were doing. I mean, it was like full-blown karaoke style. Like, she was harmonizing with me because I can't harmonize, I don't think. Like, I don't know how to actively do that. But Cece's like, we're gonna sound cute. And then all of a sudden in the background, there's Kelly back here going, meh.
Let me tell you, okay, so we were listening to Lay's Sheep, okay? And it's like, I am the sheep.
Yes.
And then there's like the part where the whole song cuts out. They didn't know that he has the little sheep noise in the background. And so I'm just sitting back there and it just
and it was so funny.
If you have never, so Lay used to be part of EXO. If you have never listened to his solo career stuff now, 100% recommend for you to laugh your ass off. Okay?
Because it is like Luhan.
If you've never seen Luhan's either, also EXO.
Luhan Lu. A lot of his other
EXO,
songs are really, really like good and like.
Oh, but
there's like some comedy songs.
It's where they try to English real hard, and it's the most adorable thing ever. But
and
the
it's
lyrics
hilarious.
are weird as hell.
Like, it's the best. It was the best. And so now every time, like, we're ever, like, doing anything, and me and Cece are singing, and Kelly's just sitting here, we're like, meh. And then she'll do, like, the random sounds. She didn't sing with us. She just did random sounds. And she's, like, back there on her phone, and all of a sudden it's like, meh. And, like, literally, we were not expecting it and dying.
It was a good time.
Really, like, the road trip part of it is really, it's a lot better than we
So
think
if you guys go to concerts, this is a good wrap-up. Because
it's
we're going to take these masks off that you can't see anymore. But if you guys go to concerts and you tend to go separately from each other or whatever, or however you go, try going with your friends, like, in the car. Because there was this time where, which this never happened, but I am married. I got married in October. And Bobby was feeding me a BLT.
Oh, yeah.
While I was driving because we were sharing the drive. And, but bacon fell on my lap from this BLT.
Oh, the bacon garter. I didn't make it.
Yeah,
Dang.
but she was telling me how she was gonna make me a bacon garter because it looked like just like a garter belt of bacon while we were driving, and she was feeding me.
And if you go by yourself, make friends with people and standing in line in the concerts, because I feel like I've met quite a few really neat people.
I'm gonna have you entertain the crowd while I go get things so we can take.
All right, so she's gonna go get things to take things off, but I feel like it's really important to get to know people in the crowd, because next time you go, like, if you always go to Chicago, the same people, not all the same people, because some people are mega fans and they'll travel. Like, they'll travel from everywhere to go to every concert. But find those people who are from, like, closer, who will go to the Chicago concerts, and befriend them and get their Instagrams. And then when a concert is coming up, be like, hey, girl, are you going to this concert? Because I'm going too, and let's meet up. Because there was a girl who went to the Pentagon concert, and she rode a bus in and had to ride a bus back home. But, like, if let's say we had met prior at a different concert and knew, we could have picked her up on the way there and taken her home on the way back, because we drove through Milwaukee, which is where she lives. Like, make friends. Then you guys can, like, be buddies and, like, hang out and get to know people and talk to other people about K-pop besides, like, the 5 whole friends that you have. Unless you have 10 friends that like K-pop, and I only have 5. So, either way.
Because then you can just, like, meet up and just, like, sit in line with somebody else that you know, instead of, like, there's 1,000 strangers around me. Again. So if you make friends, it's a lot more like,
I have a story about making a friend. So there was this girl at the BTS concert who had like bright red hair, and I sat next to her and she was really nice. I don't remember her name, but in July, lo and behold, she was at the Monster X concert and she remembered me and we said hi to each other. So it is really cool to go make friends.
Right. It's just nice to like be able to know other fans, especially if you are the only fan in your area that you know. Like you have your 2 whole friends or your 5 whole friends, or you know other people like K-pop but you're not very close to them, so you don't want to talk about it or you don't know how to talk about it with those people. Like make friends with other people. Yeah. I promise it's worth it.
There was also a girl at Amber who looked very similar to me. It was kind of crazy. She was so pretty.
She was so good looking.
Yeah.
Holy buckets. Her haircut, her hairstylist, like, yeah.
But, her too. We talked to her. We were next to her, and she was a super chill lady as well. I enjoyed her.
Yeah, she was super cool. Super cute.
Okay, just use a corner. That's all we got, is to use corners.
I'm not wiping it off. It feels good. My face feels good.
Yeah, Bobby doesn't have to wipe hers off. I know how all of these masks perform for me, so if you are oilier or whatever, all of them work well for my skin type. The Elemis one in particular, this guy doesn't leave you feeling tight, doesn't make you feel dry, because it is like a superfood mask, so it has a lot of like vitamins, minerals, things of that nature, and it's for brightening, so it's vitamin C based. Really great if you have like a kind of dull complexion. I say that very loosely because that's up to everybody's interpretation, but good if you're looking to like kind of brighten up, great before makeup. So I like this mask.
I also like that mask. I have it also. I also like it. It works for me. It doesn't break me out, and lots of masks do. So,
how did that mask work for? Because we just did the other mask, and Bobby's face started to itch.
Yeah,
so
it itched really bad. It does not. It started to itch really bad, and it was actually getting much more red when I put this mask on. It was I was very flush, and it's still very pink, but it is nowhere near as red and inflamed and itchy. It actually feels really good. My skin feels super duper hydrated. Like, it feels really good. I could sleep in this for sure.
Yeah, because you can use that sleeping mask as well. And under the eye, I didn't say that. But good, I'm glad it helped the itching, right?
Yeah, my face doesn't itch anymore.
And then how did you feel about your mask?
Well, right now, after I just wipe that off, I'm warm. My face is very warm.
I'm also warm right now, but we're in light.
I think it might be lights.
It probably is. I also don't itch anymore right here, which was my problem in between masks. I was really itchy.
I will say your face isn't red anymore.
Yeah.
Or not as red. You have like a little bit of red, but it's not as nearly.
It's not as tight, and it's a lot better.
Well, good. I'm glad everybody enjoyed their masks. Supplied by yours truly. All right. Well, this is very long. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. It was
hopefully
fun.
we can do the whole thing in one go. If we can't, it'll be broken up. Sorry about it. Like,
otherwise, let us know maybe if you want to see it as a podcast as well, because we do podcast our stuff. Ignore me, and my child is trying to get on the computer. Stop.
He's made a love child with the computer. Like, him and the computer have a love situation. Loves the computer. So is Maggie.
So we can put it up as a podcast if you want as well, since this is a little longer of a chunky chunk. The other one wasn't quite as long. If you would like to see that too, let us know.
Yeah.
Even if you don't let us know, we're probably going to do it anyway.
You better not flip
Sorry about it.
Your cats. Your babies.
Like I said, crackhead energy.
Yeah, crackhead energy.
It's right there.
Literally, Maggie. So if you liked this video and you want to see more, like, subscribe, comment, all the things. Yeah. Do all the things. And hopefully we'll be able to pump out some more content. If you want to see more of Kelly's face, comment below that you miss Kelly. Like, comment below and let us know so we can try to get her in some more videos.
Yes, because she's not available all the time, but when she is, we want to milk her as much as we can.
Yes. Milk her. All right. So, Thank you for coming to our K-pop, TableTop Kpop Mask With Me edition, where we talked about our situations as... I mean, literally, they were all situations. The way that things occurred for us for our concerts, who we met, how we felt about it, and listening to us babble for a million years. We appreciate you.
And
come again.
Hopefully, we can, in the future, I don't know how near the future is going to be with the current state of the world, but when concerts are a thing again, maybe we can vlog you. We can vlog us to you.
Fun.
Especially the drive part, because let me tell you, there are some hilarious ass drives.
Yes.
Like situations, especially in the car with the three of us. Like, So funny. Like, we talk about the randomest
We
stuff.
really do. So maybe we can vlog for you the next time that a concert pops up. I'm really hoping to see NCT sometime in the near future. Like the whole entire NCT, like the whole, every unit.
We have talked about this almost every concert that we've been to, besides like maybe the first one or first two. We need to go see the Rose.
Oh, yes.
We need to. I want to go
I
see the
don't
Rose
have
so
any.
bad.
I have no like whatever's about that. Like if the Roses are the same night as the NCT, like you guys go there, I'm going to NCT.
Oh, I'm still going to NCT. EXO is another one.
Yes,
But-
EXO, NCT. I want to see ATs as well.
Yes. But these are conversations for the next time.
Exactly.
So, goodbye. Thank you for watching, everyone.